Hello, folks. Two Sheds Gabby here. How you guys doing? I am getting ready to get into a box of nickels. I literally, just before I turned the camera on, cut that little line right there. So I have no idea. There might even be bugs in here for all I know. Well, hopefully no bugs. Now let's see if they're all new or not. Doesn't look like it. So I think we'll get to looking through these, see what we find tonight. I hope to find a little silver coin because I've gone through 8 boxes of $50 without a single silver. It'd be nice to get one wartime silver out of this. Let's get started, shall we? You guys remember in the past me saying something about a coin that looks like it's been dancing in the blender? This guy has been dancing in the blender. You can just barely see the outline of the Monticello. That's crazy. I don't remember when I got this box. I really need to mark them when I get them. The last 2 boxes I've gotten, I've marked the date on them. And I try, when I'm out of town, I usually try to write what town I'm in or something. This one had no marking. I think it's been sitting here for a month, something along that line. And so it'd be cool if it was one of the boxes that had a pretty good handful of 2024 Ps in it. But honestly, I wish I could remember. I just cannot remember. When I got this fella, I did see a 2023 already. So we'll see as the rolls go on if I'm going to get any of those 24s. I hope I do. Oh my goodness, guys, have you seen silver? Oh man, it's over $50. I guess that's the highest it's ever been. Unbelievable. My friend said when it hits 50, it's going to go parabolic. So I'm looking forward to see what parabolic is. Here in the 4th row is a 1941. And guess what? I'm not going to keep it, guys. I got wild hair in my head, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to try to keep the ones for a while that are under 100 million and just try to put some of the little bit, not that 99 million is rare or nothing like that, but I've got practically 2 full boxes of these older ones. And so for a little while, I may change my mind again. I'm just going to keep all the older ones older than 1959 and older that are under 100 million. And this guy has well over that. So I'm going to put it back in there for you guys that's keeping them. I couldn't tell you how many 1941 Philadelphias I've got. Lots of them. And so I don't know, I may change my mind right back next week, but this week it's under 100 million. That's my goal. It's a pretty good looking 1960. We on our Thursday, yesterday I guess was our Thursday bank run, and we were coming back from lunch and we drove past Half Price Books. Man, I tell you, when I had my bookstore, and even after, we were constantly taking books to Half Price Books and selling boxes of books to them. We would get a lot of books in and trade in, and lots of them we didn't need. And so we would just take tons of books and other stuff, CDs and DVDs and whatnot. We would take to Half Price Books, and you didn't get a lot for it, but over the years, man, we no telling how much money we got from them. But it was just a thing. We'd go to Half Price Books. Oh, there's a Canadian. Oh, is that Canadian? $0.05, 1987. That's an island or something. A Bermuda. Okay, cool beans. The fish. Neato. I was saying something about Half Price Books. I'll try to remember. This is the 6th row, and here is a 1947. I do not know what mint market is, but I did look. I got some emergency vehicles going on outside. Not in my driveway or nothing, but they're annoying. All of them for this year are under 100 million. The P is the highest at 95 million, something like that. So we're going to keep this one. And it's a D, so it has less than the P, so that's cool. We got us a keeper. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but good grief. Several of them. What I was saying about half-price books is we would go there and drop off our boxes of books or whatnot, and whoever went with us, sometimes it'd be 2 or 3 of us, and generally somebody would go with me that liked looking at books. I liked sitting and watching the people. That was my favorite part, because you got some wild characters hanging around half-price books. Next row, 1940. I'm not keeping the P, but the D and the S I'll keep. Not going to keep this one. It's 150, 60 something million. So anyway, let me know what y'all think. Do you think I'm just silly? Some of you guys think I'm silly just for keeping any of them, but what can I say? That's what I like to do. One of the when I had my bookstore, the half-price books that I went to the most of the time, there was I don't know if she was the store manager or assistant manager, or she just didn't like us. I don't know what was up her crawl, but she was just not pleasant to us at all. I saw her be pleasant to a few people. I'm going to say this. Lots of the people that worked at half-price books were, how do I say it without starting something, very left-leaning, okay? And I talk my walk, and so they could have easily heard me talking about something political, because that's one of my favorite subjects. I'd rather talk about religion and politics than anything else, even more than my coin collection, and I love my coin collection. That guy's worn. And so, I don't know, maybe she heard us because we sat around. Maybe she just didn't like the way we came and sat around because we brought books in every couple of weeks, I guess. Whatever it was. She was just nasty. But I love talking. I have people say, I don't want to talk religion or politics. And I don't say this because I'm not going to start an argument with them. And I try to be kind, but it's like, well, I don't know what to talk about because those are my favorite subjects. But if they have something I'll talk about, I'll talk to them. I can usually talk shop with anybody if they start the conversation, because if I start the conversation, it's probably religion or politics or coins. I'm in the 10th row now, and here is a 1954. The P and the S I'll keep. The S is pretty low mint, but the D is like 117 million, so we won't keep the D. D. Oh well, not for me. Not this week anyway. You guys know I'm just kidding. I'll talk about anything. But I do talk about religion and politics, probably more than most things, I feel like, spiritually speaking, I need to talk about religious things. But anyway, I did think of something the other day, but I'll probably wait till the next row to tell you. But this goes back to my partying days again. This is a little story I remembered. Next row, we found a coin. I'll tell you about it. Well, it's the very next row, the 11th row, and here is a 1954 again. So I think the P is like under 50 million, and the S is under 30 million, but the D is over 100. It's another D. Bummer. Anyway, the thing I was remembering, Back in the day, I had a friend that I visited. In fact, when I was younger, when I ran away, they had a rabbit barn that I ran away. I lived in for a couple of months one summer. But these people, they lived down the long driveway. It was a little rock road, had like 3 houses on the rock road, and it was on the back side. It also went past a Catholic church, school, baseball field, and there was a swimming pool up from that. So there's a long driveway that went past several things. But at the other end of it, there was a shopping center, and in this shopping center was a liquor store. So when we was like 15, 16 or whatever, we would two of us would hop on the riding lawnmower and literally ride this riding lawnmower down this big long driveway to that liquor store, and we would stand out there until we found a person that would go in and get us a case of beer. And we'd literally take that case of beer and set it up on top of the riding lawnmower and ride it back down that long driveway and put it in. Now, these cases of beer weren't cold. We had to chill them ourselves because we were cheapskates, and you could buy a case of beer, plus you had to pay the deposit on the bottles, but you could get a case of Old Milwaukee or Blatt's beer for $3.99. Plus the deposit on the bottles. But you got the deposit back if you didn't break the bottles. And there'd be, a few of us, and we would drink that case of beer that night or whatever. I'm sure we were a sight, teenagers riding that case of beer down that driveway. 15th row, and here's another 1954. So will we get 3 D's from 54? That's an S, ain't it? Yeah. No, that's a pretty good one. A little bit of wear there, but this one has like 28 million. Now that's what I like. That's what I hope to find more of right there. Cool beans. Oh, and and I remembered this box was the last box that I brought back from Ohio when we took our trip up there to the islands last month. And this was a box, and if you recall, the other nickel box I brought back from there only had 1 or 2 2024s in it, 2024 Ps. And so, this is a 15th row, and I haven't seen one yet. And so that's probably going to be consistent throughout the rest of this box. Hopefully I'll get 1 or 2. I'd love to find a 2009. I've seen 7s and 8s and 10s, so maybe we'll get lucky and get one of them. Well, the 16th row, and here's another 1954. I wonder what's up with them. This one is the Denver, so we won't keep that guy. I've got a sump pump that's going bad, I believe. It's a tone, beep, then wait a little bit, beep, and it's when I'm really listening, I can hear it. It's real quiet because it's down in our cellar. I'm gonna have to go down and just unplug it tomorrow until I figure out what's wrong with it. Hopefully nothing big deal. And it ain't supposed to rain for a few days. Here's the 19th row and a 1958. Now, the 58s only had the D and the P, and the D was like almost 200 million, and the P was only 17 million. So the P's are fun to find, but you don't find many. And this is the D. I thought it probably would be, but we like to take a chance. I've gotten a few of the P's along the way, for sure. I was remembering another situation about half-price books. After I closed my bookstore, I started going to this. I came across this liquidator who I started buying media. There's a 53. What was that? Oh, that's a mess. I can't tell what it is. I'm not going to keep it anyway. It's a mess. Anyway, I started buying media Gaylords. You know what a Gaylord is? It's a huge cardboard box that fits on a pallet. It goes to all four corners, and they're usually about chest high. They hold tons of stuff. Well, I would buy a Gaylord of like CDs and DVDs and things like that, for $500. Let me get to the next row. Okay, this is the 20th row, and it's 11 p.m., guys. I'm going to go to bed after the 5 more rolls. I'll get halfway through the box. But I would buy this Gaylord of and there would be music and movies, Blu-ray, some Blu-ray. And back then, one of the big things that was real popular was, beach workout. I can't remember exactly, but I got tons of it, and it sold so good. I would make really, really good money on these Gaylords, selling on eBay and even Amazon back then. And every now and then he would say, "Hey, I got a Gaylord of books I'll let you have for a couple $100," because they didn't really want them. They would just throw them in these Gaylords, and when it got full, they just dump them, and so I'd buy them. And I started finding that they had quite a few. A lot of the books wasn't great, but I made money on them. But I started getting college school books, and they weren't that old, only a couple years old. And so just for fun, one time I took a big box of them to half-price books, and they gave me a few $100 for it. I'm like, wow, that's what I paid for the whole Gaylord. And so I gathered up a whole bunch more and took to them. I made another few $100. But then they said, "Don't bring us any more." They said, "Because we can only take so many." They said, "After that, we'll take them, but we just won't give you hardly anything for them." I'm like, "Oh, well, thanks. I'm glad you told me." And I said, "Well, who else do you know of another one?" They said, "Another big, big market that would love to buy some of these from you is St. Louis." And I was living over in central Indiana on the other side of Indianapolis. And so it was a several-hour drive, but you know me, I love road trips. So I would take a whole bunch of them, and I'd take them down to the half-price books in St. Louis. Let me get to the next row, and I'll tell you the finish. It ain't much longer. Okay, the 21st row here. I'm not finding very much in this box. I mean, I am finding a few of the old ones that I'm not even keeping, but I'm not finding very much stuff. Maybe something good will show up. So I got the address for St. Louis, and I think at that time it was my cousin, my buddy that I traveled with a lot. He passed away a couple years ago. But we would go down there, and I'd say, "Well, I'll get us a hotel room, and we'll go out for a nice dinner," and he'd just ride along for the fun of it. And I went down there twice, I think, maybe 3 times, but I know that 2 of those times I got like $700, and I only paid $200 for the whole Gaylord. It was great, and if I'd have pieced them all out and sold them myself, I'd have made more than that. But it was just it was so nice to pay $200, box up a whole bunch of them, take them down to St. Louis, and they give me $700 just for some of them. That was pretty cool. But then I got to where I wasn't even buying from them because they kept putting less in the Gaylord. Then they wanted to start charging me more money for those electronics. Beachbody, that's what it was called, Beachbody. And the Beachbody, I wasn't getting as much, and they wasn't selling, and it was fading out. I just got to where I was making less and less money. And so finally I'm like, nah, I'm not going to buy from them anymore. 22nd row, here's another 1947. And all of these, again, like I said, are under 100 million. So it's like the P is like 90, and then 30, and then 20 for the S. And this is the P again, but it's under 100 million, so I'll keep it. Yeah, I hope something shows up in the second half better than the first half. Folks, if you're in Ohio and this is what you guys are getting consistently in your nickel boxes, I bet you're not a lot of you going through nickel boxes. Oh, I hope some of you in Ohio are doing better than this, because this box ain't doing too good. But I'm still having fun. I just love going through this stuff and chatting with you guys about what I find or what I don't find. Not a single 2023 yet. 2024 P. I've gone through half the box. I haven't found very much, but I'm going to go to bed. I don't think I ever combed my hair today. If you look at the top of my head, y'all remember back in the days of David Letterman, they would show the top of a head. And this is back before Trump was ever president. And they had a contest with people, and they say, is this Donald Trump or a monkey? They couldn't always tell. Oh, Trump or monkey. That was so funny. Good night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, folks. It is 10:30 in the morning. I've been out of bed since 8. I woke up much earlier than that, and I was just skimming through my phone. And I've just been up drinking coffee, just lazily wasting hours away with my wife. And we've decided she better make the bed, and I better start doing something too. Here is a 2025. If I can find a 2025, why can't I find a 2024? I'm not saving the 25s right now, but maybe I'll still eke out a 2024 too. I hope I do. It's the weekend, so there's no market on, silver and commodities and stuff. So it did end at $50.05 on that chart. I'm sure they vary a little bit depending on which chart you're looking at. But over $50, golly, ain't that something? That's pretty wild. That puts nickels at like, what, $2.80, something like that, for a silver nickel. That's crazy. Fun, but crazy. I tell you what, I am just not finding anything in this box. Wowzers. Well, folks, goodness gracious. This is the 9th row in the second half. Here's the 1958. The P is like 17 million, which is really low. And the D is 168 million, which is pretty high. What do we got? We got the D. Obviously that's what you usually find. But I have found the P a few times. And 17 million, that's not far away from being, a semi-key date. I think like 11 million is where they put the semi-key. The highest semi-key date, I think, is right 11 million, something like that. But I was just thinking of a story the other day. You guys, I think you've all heard me talk about, even starting as a kid, I used to be in the Saturday morning bowling leagues for years, quite a few years. And then when I got up into the teens, I joined a few bowling leagues. I had a buddy who bowled all the time. He's got, I don't know how many 300s under his belt. Not me. But anyway, one year, I think I was in my early 20s, and a few of us were talking, and there was a summer, the summer leagues are short, and the winter leagues are pretty long. And we said, let's put together a really good team and blow out a a summer league, and, and take first place. And we're like, okay, let's do that. And I was the worst one on the team with 164 average. And so I was considered the handicap of the team. And, my friend who's way up in the 200s, another guy in the 200s, and another guy I think that carried 190 something average. Let me go into the next row. Next roll. So anyway, we come in, and we grew up in this town, and lots and lots of the people in the league know us all, and they saw these guys all on the same team. There's a 1956D. Oh, that one's under. It's 67 million. I'll keep that one. Yeah. All right. So they all knew that we had the best team in the league. That it's just what it was, and it was so fun. And because it was a short season, every week that the new team would come up against us, because they got themselves psyched up playing the best team in the league, they bowled higher than their average. And we would, we won games, but we lost lots of games because them bowling higher than their average, plus their we was already fighting a high handicap because most of these players had averages of 110, 120 or something along that line. And then they'd bowl 160, 180 plus their high handicap. We just wasn't bowling enough to compete with that. And so week after week, what is it? You bowl 3 games and then you get 4. I forget how it all worked. It's been a while since I've done it, but every week it seemed like we would get the least amount of wins than the other team. and because it was just like a 12-week season, that happened so frequently, we didn't get first place. The funniest part of it is we got last place. We actually, if you looked at the printout for every week and you added it all up, we literally had over 1,000 pins more than any other team in the league, and yet still came in last place. It was hilarious. 13th row in the second half. Hey, I finally did find something, guys. 2009 Denver. Now there's a coin that I can put in a 2x2 flip. I was hoping with nothing else showing up, I might find one of these, and I did. That's very cool. So we're getting closer to the point of it being a worthwhile box. I don't know if we're quite there yet, but one more thing. Oh, there's a 1954 Denver. Let's see what that is. 47. No. Let's see. 54. Nope. 117. See ya. My son and grandson was here last weekend. And the first thing he likes to do almost every time he comes, we've got a big box of Legos. And in fact, we even had a few new ones to add to it this week. A new little package that he got to open. And he just likes we put down a blanket and he just spreads them over the floor. He takes over a fourth of the den. Oh, it's for old people, it's like, oh, I can't move. But we love to let him play and have a good time. Thankfully, him and his father, my son, put them all back in the bucket when they were done. It used to be a real struggle to get them to put them back, or to get him to put them back. But he's been a lot better at that the last year. Anyway, my wife just now got the big bucket put up in the attic. I said, you need help? She goes, I got it. It's a pretty big bucket. At the end of the 15th row, here's another one of those really washed out looking things. That just, you can't hardly see the around his mouth. It's just like, it just didn't get minted good. 2007. I just take these and I stick them in my little oddball roll. Maybe some time down the road, someone will say, oh, that's a good find. I don't know. I keep them when they look like that, though. Just 6 rolls to go left in the box, and I'm done, guys. I'm just not finding much, I tell you what. But just a couple rolls back, I did my silly little thing again. I've done it so many times, it's almost embarrassing to tell it. But I will. Oh, he's spent a little bit of time dancing in the blender. I'm going through the coins fairly quickly, and I see a 2000. In my head, it's not a 2000. I just see a coin in the last number. It's like, oh, is that a 9? And then I'm like, two sheds. It's not even the right design for the 2009. It's the older Jefferson design. Why do you keep looking at that thinking, is that a 9? Almost embarrassing. I was just thinking a minute ago, I said I was going to put that coin in the oddball tube, and I was just remembered that my oddball tube is full, but it's got pennies and nickels in it, so I know I've got some more tubes around here somewhere. I'm going to separate them out, put the pennies in one tube and the nickels in another. Give myself a little bit more room for future oddball coins. Sometimes, it'll just be a really weird looking toning or whatever. It doesn't have to be like a valuable coin to me to stick into the oddball roll tube. Although a few of them in there might have a little value to them. Just one roll to go after this, guys, and I will be done. Very, very little to show for today, but that's the way it goes. I had a guy last week unsubscribe from me. He said he liked when I just did the coin hunting, but he didn't like it when I talked politics, and he feels that I'm too harsh on my stance, and he thinks that the two sides should be more coherent with each other. And my reply was, I agreed with that 30 years ago. I said, but if you look now, I said, we had a guy that wanted to debate. He wanted to just talk and be coherent and discuss things, and they killed him. Look at the violence in the streets, the riots. Our side's not rioting. It's that side that's rioting. And that was the end of our conversation. But guys, all I can say is, if you don't like what I have to say, why in the world would you listen to me anyway? This is my channel, and although I do enjoy very much conversing with you guys, and I don't set out, it's like, how many enemies can I make? I never do that, ever. I'm in a way like Charlie Kirk, not as professional as him or nothing. Ugh. But I like to have conversation. One more row. Let me open this last row. Last row, guys. This is it. And I said to the guy, it's like, as I go through these coins, I talk about stuff that I care about, things that interest me. By all means, start you a channel and talk about the things that interest you. If you want it to be all coins and nothing else, there's YouTube or any other platform you want to use. I said, I like to talk about the things I like to talk about, and politics is one of the things I like to talk about. And I have opinions. You're entitled to yours. I like to talk about religion because where our soul goes after this short life is important. I think it should be important for everybody, and I try to encourage people to make it important, but I don't make you do anything. I suggest things. In fact, I'm going to put this week's sermon down at the bottom, like I usually do. And guess what? I also like to talk about coins and the prices of silver and copper, and I like to find cool things like silver and copper. But I didn't find a lot today. That's all right. Nothing there at the end. Come on. It'd be so cool if the last coin was a 2024. Oh, I got a 2009, and that's just about it for this one. Guys, if you stuck with it through the whole box, thank you a bunch. And we'll see you in the next hunt. Probably a box of pennies, I would guess.